Hey everyone, welcome back. Hope everyone is having a terrific Tuesday. Markets were actually pretty good today, so we'll take a look at what's going on there. Dow was up, S&P, NASDAQ were up, Bitcoin Ethereum were up also, which is good to see. So we'll look at all those numbers that we do have on them, see how they performed. We'll also take a look at the miners. They did really good as well today, for the most part. Two, I think we're only down today. So we'll look at all those. And then we also have another miner basically gives away its miners back to the creditor or sells them, whatever you want to call it. We'll take a look at which one that is, and we'll also take a look at DMG. They provided their fourth quarter results, which ended in September of 2022. We'll look at all those numbers that they have provided to see where they stack up now, and we'll call it a day. Pretty easy day. Okay, so as always, you guys know the drill here. Not financial advice, for entertainment only. Do your own research. And I'm investing in the following coins and companies for full disclosure. And if you guys enjoy this type of content, hit the like button, subscribe. As always, helps me out and helps out the YouTube algorithm. Okay, so let's get into the markets here right now. And let's see here. So S&P was up today 1.46% to 4,076. Dow Jones was up 1.09% to 34,086. And the NASDAQ was up today to 1.59% to 12,101, which was a really good day for the markets, especially being that it's the end of them, well, end of January. And historically, if January does really well, I think it's like 85% of the time, if January is positive, the rest of the year is going to be positive for the end of the year. So that's at least a good thing there. Okay. Now, as far as Bitcoin is concerned, Bitcoin was up today a little bit. It was up 1.28%. It closed at 23,128. We had a high of 23,313 and a low of 22,719. Right now on the 4-hour chart, we are kind of bouncing a little bit here. RSI is at 49 right now. Last time we were, you could say probably back here. Price at that point was still a little bit higher than where we are right now. We'll see if this reverses or not. Let's take a look at the 1-hour chart. And we can see that the RSI is at 50 on it right now. Last time we were pretty close to it was maybe back over here. Price at that point was a little bit lower. So that's a good sign on the 1-hour chart. So I think we might be getting a reversal here happening in the 1-hour chart, which could go into the 4-hour chart as well. But we'll see how that plays out. Ethereum, let's take a look at that one on the daily. It was up today as well. It was up 1.22% to a close of 1585, a low of 1561, and a high of 1605. So right now it's down a little bit as it is to 1584. Bitcoin's down a little bit right now to down 0.26% roughly to 23,070. And we'll see, let's take a look at the 4-hour chart on Ethereum. Ethereum, the RSI right now is at 848. Last time we were kind of, we're kind of close here. Price is a little bit higher in the 4-hour chart on that one. On the 1-hour, we can see here the RSI is at 50 right now. Last time we were close to it price is still up higher a little bit. So I think it's looking pretty good on that one. Okay, so let's take a look at the miners, see how they did today. ANY was down today. It was down 1.19% to 38 cents. Argo was up 7.26% today to $1.92. Bit Digital was flat at $1.44. Bitfarms was down 6.97% to 99 cents. CleanSpark was up nicely today, 13.21% to $3.17. That finally makes them where I'm actually in the positive for them. I've been dollar cost averaging since like $9 a share into them. And as prices went down lower, I was buying even more. So Bitfarms and CleanSpark, I'm actually now positive on both of those, which is kind of nice to see instead of being down, 30, 40, 50% on some of these. So that is exciting news there. Core Scientific was up today 3.03% to 35 cents. DigiHost, it was up 8.38% to $1.84. DMG was up 3.9% to 23 cents. Greenidge was up 3.64% to 84 cents. Hive was up 7.45% to $3.46. Hot 8 was up 6.04% to $1.93. Iris Energy was up 2.39 to $2.14. Marathon was up 0.56 to $7.21. Mawson was up 9.75% to 52 cents. Riot was up 5.56% to $6.27. Suno was up 2.66% to 42 cents. And TerraWolf was actually down 6.03% to 97 cents. So there's the miners as we have them right now. And let's take a look at possibly what's going to happen later on. Well, not later on. What am I talking about? I'm getting myself confused. Let's take a look at the next story that we do have, which is going to be on, let's see here. This is going to be on Greenidge Generation. So this is the miner that's actually down. And the good thing is they significantly reduced their secured debt, but they are giving away a lot of their miners back to NYDIG. So let's take a look at it here. So Greenidge restructured $76 million of secured debt with NYDIG. reducing our obligations to 17 million with potential for additional 10 million reduction. We'll take a look at what that's all about. Greenidge restructures with B. Riley for 11 million promissory note, reducing cash obligation to 9 million. So they reduced that by about 2 million. So that's pretty good there. And then they enter into hosting agreement with NYDIG, affiliates with gross profit sharing component to allow Greenidge to participate in potential Bitcoin price appreciation. So that's kind of good there. Here's the bad part. So they continue to own about 10,000 miners with a capacity of 1.1. At the end of October, they were, at least I had them at 2.5 exahash. They were supposed to get to about 4.7, meaning they are getting rid of approximately 3.6 exahash or giving that away to reduce their debt. And then they complete sale of a portion of support.com for 30 million. So they're selling what they can. And down here, we have some more information on it. So hosting agreement. So this is with NYDIG. So they entered into a 5-year hosting agreement with NYDIG. Affiliates to host the miners transferred to NYDIG. So about 3.6 exahash it looks like. This includes a profit sharing component while allowing Greenidge to participate in the upside as Bitcoin prices rise, but reduces Greenidge's down risk of Bitcoin price deterioration and cost increases related to natural gas. So that is a good point there. That's pretty good. But still, I mean, that's a 75%, almost 75% hit on their future growth of Bitcoin mining for themselves. They pretty much gave that away to NYDIG to cover their butts a little bit here to pay off some of the debt. So this covers all of Greenidge's current mining capacity at the New York and South Carolina facilities and may also cover capacity at potential third site pursuant to satisfaction of certain post-closing covenants. Not sure where they're going to get the money to do that, but we'll take a look at it here. Okay, and then down here, Greenidge provided additional collateral on its remaining mining-related assets, infrastructure assets, equity of its subsidiaries, and certain cash balances to secure the remaining debt balance with NYDIG. The loan agreement contains certain affirmative, negative, and financial covenants, including the maintenance of a minimum cash balance of 10 million, early amortization events, and events of default. So they got to keep quite a bit of cash on hand for that. And B. Riley amendment. So the amendment modifies the payment dates and principal interest payments amounts, requiring no principal or interest payments until June 2023 and monthly payments thereafter through November of 2023. So they're going to have to pay quite a bit there for, where is that? We got June, July, August, September, October, November. So basically 6 months going from there that they're going to have to pay that off. So that's not good there either. And let me see here. I think this was it. Then they go into their preliminary fourth quarter results. Don't care about preliminary results. I want to see the actual results on this. And the other part of it is we'll take a look at the numbers that we do have for them here shortly. But one of the things that's, how do I put this? It's troubling is they haven't provided their, production updates for November, December, and it would have been nice to have seen those. I think it's beneficial to investors, especially being in Bitcoin. You do have a lot of movement in the Bitcoin price. You do have other things that we want to see them either growing or not growing, see how they're comparing to their peers as far as production is concerned. And without that information going forward, since we're now at the end of January, I doubt we're going to get any January numbers as well from them. I'm going to have to basically take them off my list until they come into compliance with providing monthly production updates. Until then, they're off my list for the time being. I'll keep an eye on them. We'll track their price and things like that. But as far as any further talks about them, probably not, unless something major happens. But other than that, until we get those monthly production updates, they're basically in the doghouse right now. Okay. So next story that we're going to take a look at is, actually not next story. The next thing we're going to do is take a look at their numbers here. So just to point it out to you guys. So Greenidge, we talked about them plenty of times before. Like I said, November, December production numbers were not updated. I had them at the end of December making possibly around 15 million. We don't know what the numbers were for November, December as far as production is concerned. So this is just an estimate. I think they came in at like 15 million in total for their revenue. Not sure if that includes just the Bitcoin mining or if anything else from like support.com and power generation. I don't know what the mix is on that, where they came in, but this is kind of what I had them at. And like I said, November, December numbers, we don't have that. For that reason, they are in the doghouse because of that. And if we look at the number of miners that they do have here, they were supposed to get to about 4.7 exahash in total from what they have purchased. Now, they're only going to keep about 1.1 exahash of that. So that leads me to believe that they're giving away 3.6 exahash currently right now to NYDIG. And they do, at the end of October, they still had about 14,000 miners that needed to get installed here, 14 even more. They had 4,000 of these. So we're looking at potentially, what is that, 18,350 miners that were supposed to get in to their facilities still. Don't know if those got in or not. But like I said, it's unfortunate that they didn't provide those numbers for November, December. Would have liked to have kept up on them, but we'll see if things change going forward. And we'll see how they end up doing. I wish them all the best. But right now, also, I just remembered that they still have about 70 some odd million in debt that they have to pay as bonds that are going to be coming due in 2026, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, but I believe that's the date that they're going to be due on those. Okay, so that's it for that one. And then let's take a look at our next story here, which is on DMG. So DMG blockchain provides us with their fourth quarter and year-end results ending in September 30th. And here's what we have on them. So recent highlights: increased hash rate during fiscal year 2022 from 15 petahash to 700 petahash. So that was really good growth for them, especially being at 15 petahash to start the year out and finish out at 700. That's tremendous for them. Other miners did, 6 times better than that. Some of them have done 5 times better than that, getting to 6 exahash, 5 exahash, a lot larger growth than what they've seen. But for them, this is actually really good. So they have a strong balance sheet at fiscal year end with 10.5 million in cash and digital currency with no debt, which is great. Full year of 2022, 43.2 million revenue, 1.5 million income before other items, and then 17 million net loss, or 10 cents per share is what we have on them for that one. Okay, so let's take a look at the numbers that we do have for them, and we'll call it a day. All right, so let's take a look at DMG here. I ran the numbers on this, and I got this at way too high. There we go. So what I had to do, I had to go back through Q1 of 2022, which was at the end of December of 2021, to get the numbers for Q4, because they provided the full fiscal year 2022 numbers, which are, let me see here, which are down here that I included in here for it. And then I used those numbers across the 3 previous quarters to get what is actually here in the fourth quarter. So I took Q1, Q2, Q3, added that up and subtracted it from the fiscal year 2022 to kind of come up with what they had in Q4 based on the numbers that they provided us. And here's what we got. So we'll take a look at this over here. Let me see, Q4, the assets and liabilities will stay in Q4. Didn't have to do any really calculations on that because that's just getting provided from quarter to quarter, basically. On that one, we also did some numbers that we'll get into here at the end of it. So current assets is 1.2 million. That's actually a little bit of an increase here from 1.23, so 1.24. And these are all in Canadian. And then I do have dollars here that are converted over. The conversions do change because the value of the dollar goes up and down, but at least Canadian dollars stay the same. Assets receivable, about 6.3. So that is an increase also from 5.3 from the previous quarter. Digital assets went down a little bit to 9.3 from 10.6, not too bad. Prepaid expenses also went up a little bit, 258,000 from 151. And then current portion of lease receivables is 36, so that's down a little bit from 73. And marketable securities is pretty close to being even, 401 compared to 411, so that's not too bad. Total current assets decreased a little bit to 17.5 million from 17.8, roughly. And that's in Canadian. And then long-term deposits, they still have 14 million. That's down from 20 million. Property equipment went up a little bit to 58 million from 55, so that's good there. What else do we have here? Long-term investments, that went down to 75,000 from 5.8 million. And amount recoverable went up a little bit here to 6.6 million from 6.5. So total current assets is 96.9 million Canadian compared to 106. It is a little bit of a decrease, but I think they decreased a little bit on their liabilities as well. So they kind of helped offset a little bit. So liabilities right now, trade and other payables is 4.8 million. So that's up a little bit from 4.3. Deferred revenue is way down 103,000 compared to 1.1 million. Current portion of lease liabilities is down a little bit to 131 from 148. And current portion of loans payable is about the same, 291 off by $1 here. Not a big deal. Total current liabilities went down to 5.3 million from 5.9. So that's good there. Long-term lease liabilities went up to 92 million from 38. And total liabilities is down to 5.4 million from 5.9. So that's good there as well. And then we can see your share capital, reserves. What do we have here? Those are all pretty much the same. Accumulation went up a little bit, 1.21 from 50,000. And accumulated deficit went up a little bit to 63 million from 53 million. So went up almost $10 million there. Total stockholder equity is 91 million, so that's down from 100 million. And total liabilities and stockholder equity is also down to 96 million from 106 million. Okay. Now, revenues. Revenues were down, let's see here. Revenues for the quarter were at 4.9 million based on them reporting 32 million for the full year. We subtracted the other quarters from it to get the 4.921. This actually came in really close to what I had for them for self-mining. We'll take a look at it. Let me see here. This is in US dollars. Canadian dollars came in at 6.5 million. Total revenues. Self-mining was 5.4 million. Hosting was 582,000. Mining pools was 11,000. Forensics was 28,000. Software license income was 424,000. So that is a little bit of an increase. Self-mining was down, but we know Bitcoin was down also during that period. So that's kind of to be expected. And let's see here. Other was 14. And then selling mining in USD. Self-mining should have been probably self-mining. I believe, let's see. Yep. So that should have been, what are we doing here? And that one, revenues. Why is that one coming in larger? Oh, because I'm using the revenues of, okay. That makes sense. All right, so there we go. Operating maintenance costs was 3.4, so that's actually down from 3.5, so that's good there. General administrative went way down, 94,000 from 930,000, so that's good there. Stock-based compensation also went down to 550,000 from 574, so that's good. Research and development, for some reason, went way up. Not sure if general administrative was somehow more dumped into research and development instead of general administrative here. Could be, potentially, don't know. Provisions for doubtful accounts, that went down to 65,000 from 6,000. Depreciation went up to 5.9 million from 5.5. And amortization pretty much stayed the same at 263 from 262. So total expenses went actually up a little bit, 11.2 million from 11.1 million here in Q3. Okay. And gross profit margin, we're looking at, well, looks like they lost about 4 million in Q4, 635,000 in Q3. Gross profit minus depreciation was 2 million compared to 5 million, so they are down on that. So that did go down. And why did that go down? Operating expenses, oh, let's see here. Operating expenses minus operating, oh, self-mining. Okay, we'll look at the self-mining part of it. That's why. That's why it's that way. Okay, this was 5 million here. We had better numbers here. Okay, so that makes sense. Other income, not much other income here. Foreign exchange, just little things here and there. Decline in fair value of investments was down 5.7 million. Didn't have anything prior to that on that one. Not sure if it was included in something else potentially, like unrealized revaluation loss of digital currency. Wonder if that was in here maybe. Let's see, a realized gain was 3.8 million compared to a loss of 2.9, so that's good there. And let's see here. Net income loss was negative 9 million compared to 12 million in Q3. So that's actually an improvement there. So that's not too bad. Other income, unrealized revaluation was way down, 18,000 from, well, it actually was up. So that's good because here they were negative. And they were up 53,000 here for cumulative translation adjustment. They were down 114,000 here. So total comprehensive income was negative 9.7 million compared to negative 14. So that is an improvement. So that's good there. Okay. And then net income per share came in at basically for the quarter at 0.06 cents negative. And they have about right now 167 million shares outstanding out there. Okay. So they've improved in some things, gotten a little bit worse in other things, but overall pretty good quarter for them. Next, take a look at some of the metrics that we have here for them. And we'll look at some other things as well. So BTC mined for the quarter was about 220. Starting hash rate was 680 petahash. They finished out at 767. Average hash rate was 723. Hash rate increase decrease was by 87. So that's pretty good there for them. BTC mined per exahash for the quarter was 276. So that is a decrease from Q3, but we've also had the network hash rate go up in value. So whenever that happens, the miners become less efficient. Cost to mine one Bitcoin is up a little bit here, 56,000 compared to 52. That includes all the costs included. If we if we take out depreciation and things like that, it's still up to $17.3 thousand Canadian, and before it was 16.7, so that did increase, so that's not too good. We'd like to see that come down. Debt to equity ratio, that one went up a little bit here to 0.0599 compared to 0.0594, so that's not too bad. A slight increase on that one isn't too terrible. And then the current ratio did improve to 3.26 from 3.00, so that is a good sign there. And then we have revenue, general administrative. So it looks like they are about negative 9.84% based on that. Okay. Right. Yeah. Something's not right here. Q4 general administrative compensation. Oh, includes compensation, everything else. And then revenue was where is that coming from? Q4 revenue, where are we getting that from? Let's see here. That's revenues, that's total revenues, okay. And then compensation, we're looking at those two, general and administrative and stock-based compensation, okay. So that one was actually down for the period, but they went way up on research and development. That's why I was confused. Why is it lower? But that's why. Okay. So that should have probably been divided by that times, why do I have negative 1%? It should have not been negative 1. Should have been minus 1. 90%, or is that actually 90%? 9.84%. I have to look into that one. I don't know why that one's coming up weird for me. Okay. But that's kind of what we're looking at here right now. As far as the numbers that I had for them, I was surprised that I came in that close on it. So in Canadian, they came in at 5.476 million in revenue for the self-mining. For when that's translated over to USD, I did that today. The translation came in at 4.1 million, which I came in at 4.1 as well. I was off by like $3,000 on how much they would actually be making, which I'm happy with that. I want to stay within 2.5%, so I'm happy with this. I'm only off by negative 0.08%. Couldn't get any better than that if I tried. Okay, so that's kind of what we're looking at here. December quarter, we're looking at a little bit better right now. We're looking at possibly 4.9 in USD. We'll see where they come out at. I think that one should be coming out sometime in February, the numbers for that. We'll see where that ends up at. And then we also can take a look at the current quarter that we're in. We're looking at about 6.7 if they actually mine the whole time. But as you can see here, they have been doing some curtailing here. November, 23 days only mining. December was 26. We'll see if they can actually mine for 31 days in January, and then, the regular number of days in February as well. February, well, it should be actually 28 days instead of 31 days on that one. Let's see here. If we update that. And they still have some miners that need to get installed here. We still have these 140 terahash miners, and we have how many of those? 900 left to possibly install, looks like. And then otherwise, everything else is going to be installed for them. So they still have a little bit of growth in them, not too much. They are supposed to get to approximately 917 petahash, or they're at 917 right now. I have them at getting to about 1 exahash, potentially somewhere around there, by the time everything is said and done. Okay? So that is it. Let me know what you guys think of all this. Do you guys agree with it? Do you guys don't agree with it? You don't like the numbers? What do you think of Greenidge? Let me know down in the comments. Love to hear from you guys as always. And we'll see what happens in February. February starts tomorrow, so I'm guessing we're probably going to get some numbers from probably the likes of Bitfarms and things like that on the production for January. And then we'll see where they stack up at. Okay? So that's it. If you enjoyed it, hit the like button, subscribe. Helps me out tremendously. Spreadsheet is always going to be available to my Patreon members there. Thank you to everyone for their support, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great night. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.